All right. So thanks everyone for being on. If you can stay muted too, just because otherwise we get side noise. Okay. All right. So welcome to virtual part, or not virtual, in-person party. I'm starting this off great. In-person party masterclass. And here's what I'm going to tell you, because there are some new consultants on here and your head might explode. Keep in mind that I have 17 years of an in-person party experience, like thousands of parties I have held. Okay, so all of these tips I'm giving you are from hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of experience over time. So I want to start off with this, okay? Your main party or beauty session or whatever we're calling them objective is this one thing. Okay, so when you go to an appointment, this is your objective. It is to connect with your hostess and create a fun atmosphere. That is it. Okay, that is it. That is your prerogative. And it is not a sales atmosphere, because if you are too presentation Barbie, nobody's going to have fun. And when people aren't having fun, they aren't booking second sessions with you because they're like, this lady wasn't altogether that fun and she took 5 hours. I don't want to do this again, right? And you want them to, if they like you and they have a great time, they're going to want to be your customer. They're going to want to join your team. It literally equals everything. So if you get really overwhelmed by all the info I'm going to cover, in honesty, all of it kind of doesn't really even matter because of this one thing. If you can be good at this one thing, you can kind of stink at the rest of it and it's going to be okay. Okay, so like my first party was a hot disaster. And the party after it was probably the second hottest disaster on earth. And the third one was less hot, but still a disaster, so on and so forth. The only way you're going to get good at this is by doing it. So my suggestion in the month of April, I'm going to challenge you this right away at the beginning, is hold a bunch of parties this month in a row. Because first one, hot disaster. Now, hot disaster does not mean you're not selling and people aren't booking and you're not getting referrals. It's just, you're going to be so in your own head. You're going to say, oh my gosh, I forgot this and this went terrible and I hated how I said that. And the only way to get past that is to keep doing it, because each time you're going to tweak something, you're going to feel more confident. And once you kind of get things going, you actually have more energy to focus on connecting with your hostess and creating a fun atmosphere, which is your number one objective, than you are thinking about, oh, do I have the washcloths wet enough? You know, like we get so in our head about the dumb stuff sometimes, or like the little stuff, we're always sweating that. So, so keep it simple, keep your setup simple, everything simple. So everything I'm going to teach you tonight has to do with this. Okay. So if your number one objective is to connect with the hostess and create a fun atmosphere, as soon as you turn the doorknob to her house, or if she's coming to yours, doesn't really matter, you want to be talking with her, right? You want to ask her what she does, what she's excited to learn about, what are her kids like, anything that you can find in her house to connect with her. Those are things you want to be talking about. Maybe, you know, sometimes I'll go in someone's house and they have like a Packer blanket and I'll be like, oh my gosh, you love the Packers? I do too. And then she'll say, no, it's really just my husband. And I'm like, cool. You know, so anything, if you are not particularly good at connecting with people in that way, talk to someone who is. Find out what questions they ask people. And it's really about making people feel comfortable as soon as you walk through the door, right? But how many of us are like, I gotta set up for this party, gotta get to the table, gotta get the setup down. You're not even thinking about the hostess really. Half the time, like my setup is like whatever. And I'm just like, I'm kind of like smiling at her and I'm doing it while I'm talking, and it's never perfect and it doesn't matter because my number one objective is to connect with the hostess and create a fun atmosphere. Be interested in people instead of the process. Okay. So tips, my number one tip to have a great in-person party. You ready for this? Throw out all your expectations. I promise you it's going to make everything easier if you throw away expectations. And here's what I mean by this. So many of you show up with this vision of it going perfectly. And like there's a perfect kitchen table that seats 10 people. and there's perfect people without kids and dogs and cats and babies, and there's perfect, like everyone's there on time. Okay, none of this is going to occur. Once in a while, the heavens open and all of these things occur in a party, and you will never forget such a party. And it's not always reasons within your control, right? And then you get down on yourself because you're like, oh my gosh, it wasn't perfect. Y'all, it doesn't matter. I've done parties. I'm not even kidding you. Studio apartments. There's not even a couch. We're sitting on the floor. I walk in and I'm like, all right, you got to be adaptable, right? So you look at the situation, you go, not a big deal. I am not thrown off by this because I have thrown out expectations before I arrived. We're just going to clear up this coffee table and this is going to be it, right? I've done them on park benches. I've done them, in perfect settings with tables. I've done people all sat on the couch. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay, so it just helps if you throw away expectations of what it's supposed to look like and just adapt to whatever is thrown your way. Okay, so here's some examples of how to think on your feet. Let's say you arrive and you don't have enough trays, right? These are the cute little trays that that they put their mirrors and stuff in. You're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It's going to be terrible. Okay, stop. Adaptability. What could you squirt product on? Paper plates, tin foil, saran wrap. I mean, I've done it all, right? Whatever they got. Plate, just like a regular plate. She can wash it later, right? You can squirt the products on there. I bet she's got a hand mirror sitting in her bathroom, right? So just go get some hand mirrors. You forgot your trays. Ha ha ha, who's done this before? Put it in the comments if you've ever forgotten the trays for a party. I've done this like multiple times. I'm like, all right, girls, we're getting out the tin foil. Or if it's just a skincare party, do they really need mirrors? No, they don't, right? You can just, you're not even going to worry about these trays. You're literally going to talk about the 4-in-1 cleanser and just go around and give them some cleanser. And then they're going to wipe it off. And then you're going to go around and give them some moisturizer. You don't have to worry about this, okay? Depending on the situation. Sometimes if I'm in a living room and it's a skincare party, I don't even get these out. I'm just going around the living room doing this because they don't need a mirror unless they're doing like makeup or mascara or something. There's no table to set up on. I already talked about that one. You just make it work. I've sat on the floor. I've stood up. I've been on decks before. We do footsie parties. I mean, whatever. You just, yeah. Babies, dogs, and kids everywhere. This one is, you just have to roll with it, right? I've held babies before so that the mom can like enjoy herself. So I'm sitting here bouncing a baby and going around doing this, right? I mean, just think on your feet, have fun with people. So that's just some tips on the expectation management of arriving. And you guys, most are like, this isn't something you're gonna have to think about at every appointment, but I just find that when I have the expectations thrown out and I go to a really good one, I'm like, oh, this is great. This was really great, right? Okay, so I think Tyler had mentioned this, but I want to talk about how does the party go? Like, what's the outline? When do you do things? So I don't know if you know this. I'm going to show you this. On our team website, I have everything, okay? So hold on, I got to move this. Here we go. Okay, so here's the team website, right? EmilySchutte.com. This is you go to consultant education. This is sort of the landing page. All of the stuff I use at in-person parties is on this page. Like, these are the profile sheets that I use, okay? And let me just show you this. You can print them on normal paper. The reason I started making my own profile sheet versus using a company is because the company only had like 10 spots for referrals on the back at one point, and I wanted 20. Plus, I wanted this part to be really simple. Otherwise, they get super confused. And it's, way cheaper. You don't have to buy them from the company. You can just, if you have a printer, you can get these, but you want to get their information because this is how you create a customer. You're going to go home and you're going to enter this stuff into My Customers. You have a customer. If you don't have her info, you really don't have a customer, because how are you going to send her preferred customer program mailings? How are you going to follow up with her? This is a customer. And you can tell them, I always joke with them and I say, okay, have you filled out this little card? It's just for my records. Unless you want to be my bestie, I'll call you every day, wink. You got to have fun with people, right? So there's that. The other thing that's in that same section, you don't have to use these, but it's nice if you don't know how to squirt a tray. it's these little, like, it's just a piece of laminated paper, and it has like what goes in what little circle of this plastic thing. So you can print those off and laminate them if you want to do that. I've not done that. That's here. These are the 1 to 10 interest scale forms for when you do marketing. And then this is the party outline. So if you're like, well, how does it go? This is how I go. So one of the things you've heard me train on is working full circle. Okay, and I just want to show you the front page of this, because this is what full circle means. It means that every appointment, you're booking future appointments, you're selling products, you're sharing the opportunity, and you're coaching your hostess, meaning like helping it to hold. So the more that you can have all these things go on at an appointment, you're going to max out the experience for them. Like, they're going to love it. They're going to want to book a second session with you because you're doing all these things. But it also is going to, give you the most bang for your buck, because you're doing everything in this like 2-hour time frame. So that's kind of magical. So this is going to max out everyone's experience. So for example, when you arrive, right, you're connecting with the hostess, because again, your objective is to connect with the hostess and create a fun atmosphere. So you're going to thank everybody for coming. This is once they get to the table. So this first stuff, this is the best tip I ever learned for in-person parties back in 2004 when I started doing them. You're going to arrive and they're all talking, right? As friends arrive, they're like gabbing about their week and about their jobs, blah, blah, drinking wine, blah, 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 whatever. The best way you can get them from doing that to sitting at the table or sitting at the space where the party is going to start is to do a set and hands treatment. Say, hey, ladies, would you guys like to do a hand treatment? And they're like, yes. So you get them doing the hand treatment, you're talking to them, you're connecting with them while you're doing that. Once they rinse the hand stuff off and put the hand cream on, then you say, okay, I'm just going to have you grab a seat and you can start filling out your little yellow card or whatever color it is, the one I just showed you. It's just for my records. I won't call you every day unless you want to be my bestie, wink. So that is how you get them from chaos to the table. And if you sit there and wait for that perfect moment for them to like stop being girlfriends and like there's a lull, and then you're going to do it, you're going to be there for 4 hours. Okay. So that is how you transition people from we're having girlfriend time. And I allow a little bit of that because I'm kind of setting up and getting some things out and making sure I have everything kind of ready. But no more than like 10 minutes. I mean, we're not spending a ton of time on this. Then they're at the table. I thank everybody for coming. I have everybody say their name, what they do, and something they'd like to learn about skincare, if I'm doing skincare, or skincare and color, if I'm doing both. And that is my way. And Kate is really good at this. I don't think, oh, she is on. So Kate actually is really good at remembering what they say for the one thing they'd like to learn, because you'll get a lady who will say, oh, I've heard so much about vitamin C serums. That just sounds amazing. I'd like to know more about that. Now, in Kate's mind, she goes, I already have a sale. I just have to suggest the right product that this woman is going to like, which would be our C plus resveratrol line reducer booster or the replenishing serum C plus E, right? So she could suggest both. Maybe she'll buy both, right? So being a good waitress in point number 2 is definitely a skill. Now, if you don't have that yet, you can take notes. It's kind of brilliant, right? I give them the agenda and let them know at the end that even if they don't want to purchase anything, I hit them with this right at the beginning. Just so you ladies know, here's what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to teach you step-by-step skincare. We're going to play some games. We're going to have a blast. At the end, even if you don't want to purchase anything, I still want to meet with you in Amanda's executive suite, in her living room, because I want to know what you really liked. And maybe you have like questions for me, or, maybe you have like, I don't know, a situation you want to kind of like go over with me, and I want to get your feedback and answer those questions. So you let them know at the beginning that that is going to take place. And then at the end, it's not a surprise that it's taking place. And they're like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Sometimes the hostess will even like, I've had hostesses like clear out bedrooms for me. They're like, oh, you could totally do those meetings in here. Like they get really into it. So, and then I'm going to go into more of this, but just know that this whole outline is available to you. Now, when I did my first 3 parties, All I took was an outline, right? Now we have this thing called the flip chart where it has everything you're supposed to say on one side and pictures on the other. But honestly, I just took an outline and just filled in the rest as I went. Because I'll be honest, the beginning is important, like points like 1 through 3 or 4, where you're setting up the appointment, you're setting expectations, you're setting up like, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're doing at the end, watch me tonight, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff in the middle where you're going through products, there's no, like, you're not going to mess that part up. You're like, put this on your face, take this off your face. How does your skin feel? That's not even that's the easiest part, right? So don't get in your head about that part. Just put this on your face, take it off your face. And do you notice that when you do this, you should try this on your husband or your kids, like, just go like this. Like, how does your skin feel? When you do this, people will touch their face too. So you're touching your face because it'll make them touch their face. Yay. Okay. So that's the outline. Next point, how do we fit it all in a couple hours? A lot of you wanted to know this. How many of you have parties that are going on way too long? Okay, we got a few of you. Okay, so for appointments now this is a general rule. Have I had 4-hour parties? Absolutely. Do I like to? Nope. And it was usually my own fault because I liked hanging out with them and I stayed because it was just fun for me too. But just as a rule of thumb, appointments of 3 to 6 people, it should be about 2-ish hours start to finish, including presentation, ordering, hanging out, everything. If it's over 6 people, sometimes it's 2.5 hours, because the more people you add, the longer it's going to take because you're meeting with them at the end. And if I go in and there's 10 people at a party, I know I have to do the presentation quicker because I know that the meetings are going to take longer. So set the tone at the beginning. Tip number 1, set the tone at the beginning. You would say that, like, I want to respect everyone's time and have a ball. So I'm going to keep things moving. Is that cool with you ladies? Just as simple as that. I want to respect everyone's time, but also have a blast. So I'm going to keep things moving. Is that okay with you? Nobody ever says no to that. In 17 years, no one's ever said no. Here's another tip on how to keep things moving. You watch the table. Okay, so let's say you tell them they're doing the cleanser. When they're doing the cleanser, I'm already talking about the moisturizer. And when they're doing the moisturizer, I'm already talking about the eye cream. And I don't wait. Do not wait for every person at the table to be done before you move on, because you will be there until 2 a.m. I wait until the first person is done, the fastest girl, and then I'm talking about the next product. If you leave too much time between talking about products, if you have, I'm going to call them disruptive people. It doesn't mean they're mean or bad. It just means they want to talk all the time and tell 500,000 stories after any quiet moment. It's just, especially if there's like alcohol involved, then the stories get louder and like more frequent. If you leave time, then people have time to do that. If you don't leave time, they don't have time to do that. If you struggle with this, one thing you can do is make it a face race. Okay, so if you want to speed up your parties, you can make it into a game. Here's what I've learned in 17 years. I have a spot on our feedback form that says, is there anything that you would do differently or improve about this appointment? In 17 years, the most garnered response is more games, which I'm like, I already play kind of a lot of games, but like women are naturally competitive and they like to have fun. So you could turn the whole party into a game where you say, okay, we're going to do the space race thing. So I'm going to tell you about a product and then I'm going to say go. And the first person done is going to get a ticket towards our door prizes. If you want to do like tickets and give away something, like you can even do candy bars, for goodness sakes. You can get rolls of tickets like this at Office Depot, Walmart. Walmart's the best place. You can get them on Amazon too. The dollar store sells them where it's not in a roll. It's like a flat stack of them. Whatever, give her a ticket. You can make it fun. So, okay, ready, get set, go. And they're like, whoa, 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 washing their face and they're done. Oh, and this is how I play it. So I say, okay, we're going to play a face race. You can't do it till I say go. The first person who's done and shouts, I love my Mary Kay, is going to get a raffle ticket. So it just makes it hilarious, and we're all laughing because, again, the objective is to create a fun atmosphere. Okay, so what do you do if people are over talking you and it's like chaotic? I learned this from somebody. If you start talking quieter, they'll start talking quieter so they can hear you. I don't know if you knew that tip. Instead of you talking louder and trying to talk over them, which I've done that too. If you start talking quieter, they're going to go, wait, I can't hear her. One of the girls at the table is going to get really mad at the other one. And she's going to go, you guys, I can't hear what she's saying. You stop, like they'll yell at each other instead of you having to do it. That's the best. So you start talking quieter. Another tip for keeping things shorter and keeping control is don't give energy to people who are being dramatic. And here's what I mean by this. Sometimes you'll have someone who's like she's got her whole big purse and she'll be like, oh my gosh, I love everything from Ulta and MAC. Do you want to see all of my Ulta and MAC? And you're like, okay, seriously, lady, like we're at a Mary Kay party. Like, you know what I mean? And instead of like giving that energy, I just keep it moving. Also, you might have somebody who is like, I've had people who are like, oh, I think I'm reacting. My face feels warm. And I'm like, well, you've also had 3 glasses of wine. So it could be that, just throwing it out there. But instead of like modifying things, sometimes what we'll do, I genuinely make sure she's okay. But like, sometimes we get like insecure then and we're like, oh my gosh, I've got to make this one woman happy. And we modify things to a specific person. But what I like to do is I like to focus on the people that are into it and aren't just looking for that extra attention, if that makes sense. Otherwise, it just sort of becomes it kind of starts spreading. It's like one woman's face is warm and suddenly everyone at the party's face is warm kind of thing. You haven't experienced that yet, you will. It doesn't happen often. I'm not trying to scare you. Again, I'm the person, I tell our leaders this, I'm the person who, if you're walking down the road, I want to tell you about all the mud puddles so that you know what to do when you see one. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's muddy outside. All right. If you are a constant storyteller, okay, I'm talking about you, my friend, you. You're a talker, you're a storyteller, you love everybody, and you want to get to know everybody, you want to tell them all your stories. I want you to write down a word, and the word is wait. W-A-I-T. And it is an acronym for why am I talking? Okay. Now, or better yet, another acronym, waste. Why am I still talking? Okay. Because you want to listen twice, speak once. Obviously, when you're talking about the products, you have to talk. But you want to be timely about it. If there's time later, like I do most of my socializing with them before the party and after it when I'm meeting with them individually. That's when I'm going to have time to connect with them. But in the middle, I want to respect people's time and get everything going. Okay, so wait and waste. If you need to write that on your hand, whatever you got to do. Okay, same thing when you're in like team building appointments, you can write that on your hand too. Okay, let's talk about setup. Hope you're liking this fire hose info. Okay, so the setup, keep it simple. I'm going to show you a picture of what a typical party setup looks like at my parties. Here it is. All right. All right, you guys see the picture? All right, let me make it big. There we go. Okay, so there are trays, the papers, they each have a pen, and a set sheet. That is it. I do not put catalogs out at the beginning. Do you know why? Because if you put lookbooks at every station, they're going to be looking at the lookbook instead of paying attention to you, first thing. If anything, I'd use a beauty book, but you don't even need that. And if you use your flip chart, it just sits here. So this is like a typical, this is actually someone else's house where I did a party. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because, and I've seen this even pre-pandemic, some people get like special spray bottles and special washcloths and name tags and all this like froofy like goodie bags next to each spot. You guys, it's fine. It's just, it makes your job look hard. Okay, you want to make your job look or make Mary Kay look easy. So for example, what we used to do skits about this. This is hilarious. You don't want to walk in the door looking like you're a schlepping bag lady. Like you got like a bag and you get a bag and you get a bag and you get another bag and you got bags everywhere. So the rule of thumb is 2. So if you can't remember this, just think of the airport. If you haven't flown lately, they are cracking down. They are cracking down on carry-ons. You are literally now allowed 1 carry-on and 1 personal item. I've seen them tell people to like this one lady had like a bag, like a duffel bag or like a tote bag and a tiny little purse. And the lady was like, you need to put that bag inside of that bag. And I was like, whoa, they are cracking down because they never used to care. As long as it fit in your seat, they care now. So the same rule for your party, 2 bags. So that means you either need to put your purse inside of your party bag. Like you should not have your purse, a party bag and a party bag. That's 3. 2 bags. So either don't take your purse in with you or just take your wallet and stick it in something if you're worried about like your car getting broken into, or just don't even bring your purse, right? You don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, if there's a lot of people there, it just kind of creates like stuff people can trip on and whatnot. You also want the table to be simple so that at the end, it's super easier to clean up. So no bag ladies, right? Can we make a pact, no bag ladies? All right. All right, how to sell more at your parties. Make sure I'm not, okay, not missing anything. These are, again, you actually sell more the more simple you keep it, because a confused mind does absolutely nothing, right? So keep your sampling simple. That's tip 1. The more you sample, I want you to hear this, the more you sample, the less they buy. It is not the other way around. Trust me, I've tried it hundreds of times. The less you sample, the more they buy. Because again, a confused mind does nothing. And if you add so many treatments in, they don't know what the order of application is. And they're just like, oh, I would never do all this. Also know your audience. If they want to do a color look and none of them wear a stitch of makeup and haven't ever in their lives, and you pull out a look card that has 3 eyeshadows, they're not going to buy it. They're going to have a blast applying it that night, but they are not going to take it home with them because it's not who they are. It's not what they're going to use. So I like to go into a party and go, okay, what products are going to add value to this specific group's lives? A dash out the door makeup look. She's going to buy that because it's easy. Like it's the 1 cream eyeshadow on the lid, mascara, and lips. Also, it's easier for you as a consultant, right? When you start doing like mega color parties, it takes forever. Most parties I do want dash out the door anyway. So keep it simple. You can sell things just by mentioning something versus having to sample it. So going back to what I was talking about Kate is good at this, like asking at the beginning, what would you like to learn today? She says vitamin C. Kate, at a very strategic time when she's thinking about it, would maybe like once she's done with the miracle set, she would go, okay, I just want to tell you really quick about a couple products that you could add to really just like boost up your miracle set. And you pull out a catalog and you say, I just want to talk about these 2 boosters quick because some of you are asking about vitamin C. So here's one, boom. Sometimes just mentioning, like, I'll be like, oh my gosh, they're putting their foundation on if we're doing color. And I'll be like, oh, and you guys, if you want all day makeup, you've got to try our foundation primer. It just makes you like look flawless and it makes your makeup last all day. Done. I've just sold 5 face primers. Like that's just how in-person things go. Like one product will catch on and everyone wants it. So you can sell by mentioning. The 3rd tip, this is the one I find consultants forget. And I talk about it all the time. The eye buys, right? People want to see things. They want to touch things. Show things as you're selling it. So when you're talking about the cleanser, right? We talked about this even with virtual parties. Hold it. Pass it around if they want to touch it. Women like to feel products and feel packaging. It also helps keep control of the room. So if little chaos is happening, you'll say something like, okay, well, we're gonna start with the cleanser. It looks like this. When you say like this and you hold something up, they're all like, wait, like what? And they're looking at it. So it takes their attention from chaos to look at the shiny thing here, people. So sell it. The next selling tip is do compliment time at the end. So when I'm done with a party, I say, okay, we're going to do this thing. I call it warm and fuzzy time. This is in the party outline, just so you know. We're going to do this warm and fuzzy time. I want you to turn to the person next to you and tell them what you like best about their new look. Or tell the person next to you what skincare product you love best tonight or how your skin feels. And here's what happens. Here's why this sells without you selling, is because when somebody's friend says, oh my gosh, Linda, that mascara is like off the hook awesome on you, there is no way Linda's going home without that mascara after her friend told her that, right? Doesn't matter what Linda thinks. Her friend told her that she looked real good. So it also makes people feel good, right? It's not just about selling, but it does make people feel good also. Ooh, this is a good tip. Whatever you show last is what they remember. So at the end, and we'll talk about this because I'm going to get into closing. At the end, when you're showing like your set sheet and the catalog, I start with color and I like to end with skincare because what you sample last is what they're going to remember most. Okay, so if you start pulling out a whole bunch of like color stuff and you can't understand why you're selling so much color, it's because you're talking about it at the end. You've got to bring them back to skincare. No matter what you've done at the appointment, you want to bring it back to the set that they tried and how amazing their skin feels. Touch your face again. Oh, doesn't your skin just feel so good? And when you recap the sets at the end, right? Even though the entire time you have been showing these products, like you've been holding them, when you get to the end, you need to pull them all out again. Okay, this is the miracle set we tried today. This, boop, boop, boop. It's the 4-in-1 cleanser, the day cream, the night cream, and the eye cream. Look at, right? So constantly pulling stuff out. And what I like to do for in-person parties, best tip, I've done this for 17 years, is I open a roll-up bag for myself. I make mine cute. I used a Cricut and made a pink Cadillac and my name in glitter. And this is all my demo product. So it's all in this one place. Plus at the end, you oh man, you Vanna White the heck out of this thing. You're like, oh, it's got a hook. And you can, if you don't want everyone to see your stuff. And then my favorite part of the entire party is when I go, and they're like, wow, like you can just really have fun with this bag. But yeah, so I keep all my demo stuff in here. So I just like re-pull it out at the end. And then it's all in one place and I can just throw stuff in at the end and it's not a big deal. And go over some specials and sets at the end. Don't just like finish the party, compliment time. Okay, bye for me. Like go like, and we're going to get into that with that's called the table close, where you're going into what they can get from you, like your deals and stuff. So we'll get there. Okay, recruiting at your parties. Is anyone like, oh, we're running a marathon? I feel like I'm training a marathon. We're going to do this. Recruiting at your parties. Okay, I'll address that in a second, Amanda. Recruiting, adding people to your team, because again, we're working full circle. We're selling, we're booking, we're adding team members. You want to tell a well thought out story of how you started. It's like 3 minutes. Okay, again, if you are someone who likes to talk and talk and talk, wait. Why am I talking? Right, 3 minutes. Like short, but thorough. And we talked about this in a couple trainings, and I have this document. I need to put this on our team website, but it's a great way to formulate that story, like that includes some of the common objections that people have about Mary Kay. And then at the end, you say, watch me tonight, see if you could ever see yourself doing what I do to either save money or possibly make money. I'm looking for 3 great women to join my team today. And it's only $30 to join Mary Kay right now. Okay. So telling that story at the beginning, the reason you do that is because, okay, here's what's going to happen. If you haven't done parties before, when you open that door and you start talking to the hostess, probably the fourth or fifth thing she is guaranteed going to ask you is, so how'd you get into this? Because they're curious about you because you were curious about them. Even if they're not interested in Mary Kay, they want to know this. So how'd you get into this? And so I'll tell her kind of like the shortened version, but then, you know, sometimes I'll even use that. I'll say, oh my gosh, Tammy asked me this when I walked in the door. She wanted to know what I, you know, how I got into this. So here's my, you know, just to introduce myself, here's my story, blah, blah, blah. You go into it. The other tip, and this might be a good one for seasoned consultants who think they know everything. I'm just kidding. You guys love you. I actually show the starter kit flyer at the beginning. You know, so I say, oh my gosh, you can start Mary Kay for as little as $30 right now. They have two different options to start, and you can, you know, save money, make money. And you get this like awesome starter kit with tons of great products. So I'll kind of pass this around. I actually pass it around at the beginning of the party, and then I leave it in the middle of the table for the party, because here's what happens at every party. We get to the end and, you know, you're done and they're kind of like not ready to check out yet, but they're shopping. I always have a lady or two who picks this up because she wants to look at this, right? So I leave this in the table because she's curious about it. And a lot of times I'll come out of the bathroom or I'm done cleaning up and she'll start asking me about this. But she's not going to do that if you don't have it at the table. So I actually just laminate these. They are on our website. So if you're like, I want that cool paper, where do I get it? It's on that part of our website. If you are using the flip chart, which is the thing that Mary Kay provides you. Oh, I want to share this because Lisa asked me this and I thought it was so on point. Okay, Lisa, this one's for you, girl. Lisa Sanderson. This is how your flip chart should look. You kind of have to bend it weird and it kind of feels like you're breaking it, but I promise you, you're not breaking it. And this is a great tool because it keeps you on track. So you can make notes, but here's what I want to tell you about the first 5 pages are real boring. Real boring. You do not need to say all the things in the first 5 pages because it's so boring. You're going to bore them. And our objective is to connect with our hostess and create a fun atmosphere, not boring. So go through the first 5-ish pages, all the pages before they start getting into the product. And maybe just pick a sentence or two, write in some other sentences you think are a little more exciting, whatever you got to do to make it not boring. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that really quick. The other thing you're going to want to do is do some type of thing where you share the opportunity at your parties. I usually do what's in my bag. I have a full video on emilyschutte.com on how to play this and what to say. There's even a document. You can print out the document and glue it to a flip chart page so you can just read it just like you're using your flip chart. It's awesome. But each one of these items represents a benefit of being a Mary Kay consultant. So I just say, okay, everyone go around and pick an item that interests you out of this bag. So they each pick a thing. And then I say, okay, each one of these items represents a benefit with, you know, of Mary Kay. So try to guess your item. And if you guess right, you get a ticket or whatever. I don't even always do tickets. So like rubber band flexibility, and then you pause and you explain it. And the explanation that you say is in that document so that you've pasted to your flip chart. What do you think this one would be? The car program. This one is, and you don't have to use these exact items. Like you could use a slinky for flexibility. This is a ladder, a Lego ladder I stole from my kids. Like that's, you know, the career path, money, recognition. You can find different items. So I always play that game and I have them fill this other form out, which has their interest scale. I know this sounds like a lot, but when you just start doing it, you just throw them on the table. It's nothing. And I like to do this because it gives me a sense of their interest in starting Mary Kay. It's also a way for me to start a conversation with them in the individual consultation. So I always get these and you talk about it again at the close. Again, I'm just highlighting things. Your head's exploding. Remember what I just said. Create a fun atmosphere, connect with your hostess. You're going to learn these things as you go. I've done this a lot. I want to talk about getting referrals at your parties because let's say you have a party of 5 and there's 20 spots here. You can leave a party with 100 referrals easily. Okay. So you're going to need, this is where I bring some supplies. I make these tiny little baggies. Okay, now this is a simple plastic bag from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, like a bead bag. You know how you got to put beads and stuff? So it's just a bead bag. And it has one of the little tiny hand creams here, some shred. This is just like cheap shred that just makes it look more exciting because there's really nothing in here. A clear proof mask, and then my business card. That is all I put in here. So in order to get more referrals, you need to create a competitive atmosphere. Here, we're back to this competition thing. I'm telling you, if you do this, women get into it because they're competitive. They don't want to admit it, but they are. So this is how I start off the referral game. I don't say, okay, we're going to play a referral game. I say, who wants a free mascara? Or pink clay mask or something cheap. I don't care. Do an eyeshadow. Don't care. Whatever you got. I just like mascara because I always have a million of them and women like mascara and it's worth it to me. So that's how I start the referral game off. We're going to play a game. Who wants a free mascara? And they're like, me. Okay. So now you've just taken the competition level from snoring to like, holy cow, we're doing something and I want to win a mascara. So now they're paying attention to you. And I will say, okay, we're going to play a game. You can only play it if you like me. Wink. So I'm going to know who's not playing. Ha ha ha. You guys, you got to joke with them. It's funny. So I say, okay, on the back of your card, don't start yet. You got to, here you are creating the competition. Don't start yet. You're going to want your cell phone, by the way. So if you don't have it, run and grab it. You let them go run and grab their phones. Now they're ready to play it. All right, we're going to play the fabulous game because women are fabulous. They don't always take time for themselves. And so you're going to have the ability to nominate 20 ladies to get some pampering from me and a gift card. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to think of anyone you know who's overworked, underpampered, underappreciated, could use some pampering with Mary Kay. By the way, this is all written out on my website on a thing called the referral game. So if you just want to read it, go ahead and read it, girl. You got this. All you need is first name and phone number. And, you can tell them like, I text them if they want a free pampering session from me, great. If not, I'm with Mary Kay, not Scary Kay. I'm not going to consistently stalk your friends. Okay. The only rules are they have to be over 18. We used to say they have to be in the area, but now they can be from anywhere because we can do virtual. And you just rate first name or you're not going to win. So here's how you win the mascara. I'm going to say go. And you can put as many as you want here. But if you're Miss Tons of Friends and you fill the card, you're going to get a guaranteed prize because I'm nice like that. I like to have a guaranteed prize. Here's the guaranteed prize. You're going to get this like awesome purse-sized hand cream, a charcoal mask sample, and some goodies just for you. But the first person who gets the 20 is getting a free mascara of her choice from me tonight. Is everybody ready? Okay, now this is the key. You have to say ready, get set, go. And then they're like they're going. At this point, I leave the room, especially if you are someone who has to write weight on this hand and waist on this hand. You need to remove yourself from the room and go in the bathroom. I just pretend like this is my potty break. I got to go. Because if you are talking to them during the referral game, they're talking to you. They're not rating referrals. You're actually hurting your referrals because they can't do both at the same time. So I just say, oh, can I use your bathroom quick? It's actually a good way, especially if you're a nervous person like I was for like the first 3,000 parties I did. It gave me, the introvert in me, a chance to go, ah. And then sometimes I would like look in her cupboards and see what kind of product she's using. I mean, you take your time. You don't need to hurry. They're writing down names in the other room. You're good. And then sometimes too, when you remove yourself, they'll start talking to each other like, hey, you should write down that lady from work. Are you going to write down Karen from church? Like they'll start having conversations about who they're writing down and then they'll get competitive about it. So you just need to remove yourself for a while. So you come back out and you say, if they're done, you say, who's the winner? And then you move on. Okay. And I always do that during the satin lips. So they have like a lip mask on their lips. It's in the outline. Okay. So those are my referral bag tips. I just make a bunch of these. It's easy to do. I rarely leave a party with less than 50 referrals. So this is how you can really keep things going I think Dawn got like a ton from her party too. Like, this is how you're going to keep business going. You're going to get so many referrals. You just have to do it and have fun with it and make it a competition. Next topic is booking from your parties. Bookings from bookings, the hot topic. So I'm going to give you a lot of tips. Don't worry, we're hitting, after this, I'm just going to talk about closing and then we're done, okay? So bookings from bookings. If you can master the referral game and bookings from bookings, you are set. Okay, so if I was you, I would study those two things. Go on emilyshooty.com. I have videos, I have I have everything you need to be good at all of this. Just go and do it, right? Okay, so booking from bookings. First tip, mention second appointment a lot. I want to explain this very quickly. So when Mary Kay started the company, she would say this to people. I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, you're guaranteed 2 appointments with Mary Kay, one tonight, one in 2 weeks. And we like to meet with you in 2 weeks to make sure your products are working out for you. So if there's anything you need to switch out, we can switch it out. You get to try more products, right? And you get that customer service. So she actually believed that everyone should have a second appointment. Just like, for example, if you get your nails done, like the fill, you got to go back every 2 weeks. So how are we any different than the nail lady? We're not. Okay. So we're going to get together with them in 2 weeks. So the first tip to doing that is saying that at the beginning of the appointment, right? Again, that beginning part, do you see why it's crucial? You're setting up the individual consultation. You're guaranteed 2 appointments with Mary Kay, one tonight and one in a few weeks. We love to see if your products are working for you, and you can try different products, and we can kind of have more one-on-one time and try more things that you would like to try. So that's why that beginning part's important. You're going to mention second appointment a lot. Here's some examples of how you do that. Okay, tonight we're doing the miracle set. Oh, love this line. It's great for reversing aging, but maybe you're like, lady, I'm already experiencing signs of aging. At your second appointment, you could try the Time-Wise Repair set with me. Or, tonight we're doing skincare. But at your second appointment, if you want to play with a lot of color, we could totally dive into that color. And every product you talk about, think of a way to mention second appointment, because it's actually way easier than you think. If you are not good at this and you need to force yourself to be good at it, you can play another game. See how I have so many games up my sleeve. You can wrap something up. It could literally be a full-size candy bar. I would get competitive for a Kit Kat, like a full-size one. Like I would get bloody for that. I'm not kidding. I love candy bars. Okay, so let's say you got this candy bar. Or maybe it's a little baggy like this. It doesn't really matter. Maybe it's just samples. Make up something. And you make a game and you say, okay, you have to say this at the beginning. We're going to give it to Cheyenne. She's the person to my right, and it's going to go around the table. Okay, ladies? Anytime you hear me say the words second appointment, follow-up appointment, you're going to pass the goodie bag to the next person. And if you are the final person that has that bag, when I'm done at the end and I'm done saying second appointment, you get to take it home with you. So now they're listening for it. Second appointment, follow-up appointment, second appointment, and it's going around the table. And again, they're having some fun with it. So it's creating that fun atmosphere. It's called Pass the Present. I think Mary Kay made that one up. That was good. The other tip you can do is wrap something really cute and put it in the middle of the table. You guys, those pink clay masks we got on sale, brilliant. Anytime Mary Kay does a sale on a product, get it for this reason. So let's say I was going to do this, but I forgot. You take your pink clay mask and you make it cute. Like I'm talking big, dramatic cellophane and like a big bow, like way more dramatic than necessary. And you stick that in the middle of the table. And you tell them at the beginning of the appointment, just so you know, who loves that really enticing gift in the middle of the table. And they're going to be like, me. Just so you know, when 2 of you decide to book that second session today, your friend Tina, the hostess, is going to go home with that tonight. So you're going to tell her friends that when 2 of them book, Tina's going to get that. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to have at least 2 bookings because Tina's going to want that. And most people's friends are going to want Tina to have that. So, and then asking everybody again in the individual close, regardless of what they say. So let's talk about closing. There are 2 closes at the appointment. And I promise you this can all go really quickly, just because I'm training on it. It's making it sound really long. So there's 2 closes. There is what we call the table close. And you guys, this is like 1963 Mary Kay right here. You ready for this? Table close and individual close. Hasn't changed in almost 60 years. A table close is you've done all the products, you did compliment time. Now it's time to tell them stuff. That's all it is. It's like we do it on Zoom. You've heard me do it 100 times on Zoom. You're basically done and you just say, okay, there's 3 ways you can get products from me tonight. And we're going to play some games as I explain them. Okay, so the first way is, you know, that second appointment we've been talking about all day and that gift in the middle of the table. If you book a second session with me and you share it with 2 friends, you can get hostess credit. And then I always play a deal or no deal game. And you guys, here's where this game came from. I was not getting bookings from bookings. And I heard this idea and I thought, that's dumb. It's like, well, it's dumb, but I'll try it once. I was literally going from maybe 1 booking at a booking every now and then. I booked 5 out of 7 and I was like, I'm sold on this. And it's not even that it's that exciting. It's just that it's a game. And you know, before going into the individual consultations who's booking. I think the problem is that sometimes we overcomplicate explaining it. So I just explain it really simply and I say, okay, we're going to play deal or no deal. I'm going to come around and I'm going to ask each one of you deal or no deal. If you say deal, it means you don't want to book a second appointment. And just so you know, if you say that, I still like you because we're besties now. But if you say deal, it means you want to get together with a couple friends. And when you do that, you're going to get a shopping spree. And you're also going to get one of the items off one of these cards. You're not going to get it tonight. You're going to get it at your second appointment. Deal or no deal. And then they go around and they pick. And a lot of times, the other reason I like this is because they'll kind of pressure each other too. Like one girl will be like, well, I don't know if I should. And then the other girls are like, oh, Tina, come on. You know those 3 girls over at church and you know that lady, like you could just invite your mom. You know, like they start pressuring each other. And sometimes I'll even make a joke and say, for the record, she's pressuring you, not me. So they'll take the card that they want and there's different like products. You can, again, this is all on my website, so you can print it out, look at it. And if you've set it up right, because you've said second session throughout, you've played the game or you've, told them at the beginning, this is first of 2 appointments, you're going to get better results with any sort of booking thing you do at the end, right? If you just like go from saying really nothing the entire time to going into this, they're going to be like, what are you talking about, lady? It works. Okay, so that is the first way you get products. The second way is if you like a lot of stuff, you can join me and get your own products at a 50% discount and have the ability to save money or make money. We're going to play a quick game called What's in My Bag. It's super corny, just to warn you, okay? And you go into the What's in My Bag, right? And let them know they get their name in the gift card drawing just for playing it. And then the last way is you can enjoy my steals and deals tonight. And this is where I pull out the set sheet and I'll say, I still have not given them a catalog, because once the catalogs get handed out, you are done. They are not going to listen to you. But I will hold a single catalog up and say, this is our shopping catalog. Just so you know, it's confusing. The beginning is magazine-ish. If you want all the individual things, flip to the back. I'm doing this as I'm saying it because, again, people are visual. So because of that, I have this awesome deal sheet that I'm going to show you some of the sets that we tried tonight and the deals that I do. Again, you're pulling out. I want to talk about the miracle set. We did that tonight. Here's the miracle set. You also did the microdermabrasion. Some of the other products I talked about tonight were the eye patches, and that we did the satin hands and satin lips. I have 3 specials at the bottom. Whatever. There's a bunch of set sheets on my website. You can print off ones you like. Doesn't matter. Or use the company ones. And you're showing the roll-up bag and you're telling them about your special. Don't forget this important part. You have to tell them how they can get products from you. So if you ladies want to get products, you can get them from me. My car is loaded. Okay, so if you have product on hand, you can say my car is loaded. So if you're tempted by anything, you're going to probably get all or some of your products tonight. You can do cash, check, card, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or the he doesn't have to know about it plan. It's a little cash, a little check, and a little credit. He's going to know you spent money. He doesn't need to know how much. And they all just roar with laughter. But there's usually one lady that needs that, so it's not so funny for her. And then then it's done, right? So then you tell them again, okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to clean up the table really quick. And then if you have to get going, I'm going to meet with you first. But I'm going to meet with you in Amanda's executive suite in her living room. Even if you don't want to purchase anything, I still really want to know what you liked. Okay, so then it's done. Now you hand out the catalogs. So they're engrossed in catalogs. While they're engrossed in catalogs, you are like this. Like you are literally, like I even pretend sometimes that I have a garbage bag and I'm going like this. I don't spend a lot of time cleaning up the table. I think in my head, I will deal with it when I get home. I just take the trays out, throw those away, and then it is literally like dumped into my bag. I want to clean up quickly, and I want to clean up pretty much everything except the catalogs and the set sheets. Everything else is put away because when I am done with their individual consultations, I want to go to my car, get their product, come back in, and done. Right? Because otherwise, this is going to go on 4 hours, right? My parties are usually 2 hours or less, just depending. Usually it's about 2 though, even with like some chit chat. It goes faster than you think. 2 hours sounds like a long time. It's really not. So I've cleaned up. As soon as I am done cleaning up, I pick the person I think is going to buy the most. And I'll say this. I'll say, Anna, you ready to meet with me in my office? And she'll be like, well, I'm not quite ready. I say, oh, that's fine. I can help you answer any questions. So then Anna comes in, and this is where I made you a document. It's called so now we're going to do the individual closes. So the individual consultation helper. So again, you just print this bad boy out, and you are now going to be a pro. So this is it. This is what you ask her. You say, Anna, did you have a good time tonight? Was it fun? Don't be a robot when you ask these questions. Yeah, it was super fun. Okay. How does your skin feel? Oh my gosh, like touch your cheek because she's going to touch hers. What did you like the best? Like, what was your favorite thing you tried or product you learned about? She's going to tell you. Is there I'm a big chicken. I never say, what's that? Would you like to take home with you? Because I'm a chicken. Did you know that I'm a big chicken? I sell a lot of product. Chickens can sell products. It's great. I just say, what would you like to take home with you tonight? Or is there anything you'd like to take home with you tonight? And you collect the sale. While you're collecting the sale, she'll say, yeah, I need an eye makeup remover and a mascara. Great, you write it down. Is there anything else? If you don't ask that, the sale is done. If you ask it, she'll be like, oh, there was that one thing. And you'll be like, one thing. Okay, those things like on your eyes, you have to be an interpreter sometimes. Oh, the hydrogel eye patches. Do you want those too? Yeah, I want those. So you write those down. Great, is there anything else? She might hem and haw, and then she'll go, no, I think that's good. Okay, then we're done, right? I don't pressure her, but it's just like, is there anything else? Is there anything else? This is also an opportunity to upsell. She buys a foundation. Do you need a brush for that? It's just a question. It's not, you need a brush for that. It's, do you want a brush for that? And she'll go, what do you mean? And I'll go, oh, we've got these fabulous foundation brushes. Well, you better give me one, So that is the sale. Then if she did deal or no deal, you're going to get a tentative date with her. And then you're going to talk about the interest scale and if she wants to join your team. And it's all written out here. So you just print this out and like tuck it in your little bag with your sales tickets and everything so that you're like, okay, what do I say again? You just pull out that thing and you can just like put it behind a book. She's not going to know you're looking at it. I did that for like a year until I figured out what to do and what to say. So one thing I want to say, just a way to stay organized is have a zipper bag that's small that fits in your party bag because we're at 2-bag maximum. And this has all my individual consultation supplies. Okay, so we have sales tickets, right? We have square credit card processing thingy, mini stapler, because I like to staple her sheet to her profile card, or if you want to staple all her stuff together, you never know, little staplers come in real handy. A bag with some coins in it, because some people still pay in cash and sometimes I don't have coins. And then this is just a little pouch with some business cards. And it's all in one bag. So when it's time for individual consultations, all I have to do, oh, and there's usually a pen in here, is grab this one bag and my date book. And I'm like, okay, Anna, like, are you ready to meet with me? And then when I'm in that individual consultation with Anna and it's her turn is done, this is how you get the next person in. I say, Anna, when you go back to the table, can you like tell one of your friends to come in and be bossy about it? And she'll be like, okay. And usually Anna will go in and be like, Arlene, get in there. So you don't have to do that. You send her to do that. Okay, so I know this was a lot, but I wanted to give you all of my expert tips. And again, if you're like, oh, I could never do an in-person party, it is easier than you think if you just focus on the people there and keeping things moving. You're going to get good at it. And so really quick, I know Amanda had a question. You can put a perfume in the middle of the table that they can smell. You can put a few products in the middle of the table. That's sort of like passive sampling versus like, hey, I'm going to have everyone try this while we're all sitting here. So put a few things in the middle. I don't do the like temptation basket. I only do that around the holidays for holiday gifts, because again, that's the only time you can break the 2-bag maximum is around the holidays. You have your basket with like your stocking stuffer ideas, then you can have 3. But most of the year I just put maybe a couple perfumes or something in the middle of the table. But even keep that simple, because you need to clean it up. You're putting it in a garbage bag. You're not really doing a garbage bag, but one of my director friends used to take a tablecloth to every party, and she would literally just take everything and fold it in a tablecloth and throw it in her car and deal with it when she got home. Okay, so it has been an hour. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts that they would like to share or ask? Okay, hold on. I got to put you on gallery view. You guys are all like, oh my gosh. It's a lot, isn't it?
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Anna.
And this might be kind of a silly question, but so you're talking about the makeup look, and you said that when, you kind of look at the group and you're like, I'm not doing a full card. So you just do like the dash out the door look with them. How do you sample the liquid eyeshadows? Because I never really thought that through, that I could do something like that. I've just always done the cards because that's what I thought we were supposed to do.
Oh my gosh. 98% of color parties, I do dash out the door, and they love it. I sell so many cream eyeshadows, and it's so easy for me. Okay, so another party bag organization tip: head to your local Fleet Farm. Nowhere else. Everywhere else is going to be way overpriced. Fleet Farm, this is a cheap fishing tackle thingy. Okay, don't go to Container Store or, maybe Walmart. Okay, but otherwise you're going to overpay for little stuff like this. I got this at Fleet Farm or a fishing store or whatever you have. I don't know if Tammy has Fleet Farm out in Oregon. It's to be determined, but you know what I mean, like a sports store. And this holds all of my applicators. So I have sponge tips. I have tons of them because I hate refilling stuff. Sponge tips, the little lip wands. Do you guys know? Like these are little lip wands that they put samples on, and then the mascara wands. So Anna, to sample the cream shadow, I just take a lip wand, and there is one of them here. So this is a cream eyeshadow, right? So I take the wand out, I stick this in, pull it out, and it's got product on it. And I tell her to do 4 dots across her eyelid and then blend it with her finger. That's how you sample those.
Do you have all 4 shades, or do you just have like one?
I have all 4 open, but if you're just going to open 1 or 2, I would do like the pink one, the pink starlight, or the lighter champagne one, and then the meteor shower in case they want a darker color. But I literally only do 1. And I tell them, this is going to look like you tried super hard, but you did it and it lasts all day. I hate doing any more than this at a first appointment. If they want to get together with me for a second appointment and go into more glamour, great. But those cards take forever and no one knows how to do it. It's like, ugh. And people like fast and easy. Even a lot of bridal appointments is what they want, just something that looks cute. And they want to work on their skin. So good question. That was a good one. Anybody else have anything they want to ask? Who's excited to hold some in-person stuff this month? Cheyenne, new consultant, love you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, you guys. And I've actually missed it. I'm actually going this month. I was sort of had a moment this weekend where I'm like, I like virtual, but I'm going back. Like I like all month is my focus is going back in person just because I love connecting with people and just, there's some power there. And in my opinion, it saves time because you're going to go do you're there for 2 hours, but you leave and you're done. Like you have sold hundreds of dollars, you've booked future appointments, you've gotten tens of 100 referrals, and you did some marketing and you leave and you're like, that all happened in 2 hours. You didn't have to chase people for it. You know what I mean? So there is some power there. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you so much for absorbing all this information. I'm going to have this recording. Go on emilyschutte.com. I promise you every in-person party thing is there. It was before the pandemic, still there. It's been updated a little bit, but I appreciate you all so much and have a great night.